All right, guys, live stream should be starting up now. Hope you guys all had a Merry Christmas yesterday, Happy Holidays. And yeah, really excited to talk about 9 games tonight for NBA. Hoping it's a better slate than yesterday. It was, I was really excited for the NBA slate yesterday. There's just so much talent, and it was just kind of a flop. Like a ton of blowouts, no big scores, all the chalk really busting. Like, again, I went over my lineup. I had a couple booms, like Jaylen Brown and Kyrie Irving and Bobby Portis, but, Jeff Teague sunk my lineup. Tyler Hero couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. So, that's how it goes sometimes in the NBA, but good thing with DFS always, there's another slate. So, let's talk about this one. Let's review the Vegas odds really quick, guys, and then we can get into it. So, again, 9 games. We have Cavs Pistons is a 213 over under. The Pistons are 1-point favorites. A little Andre Drummond revenge game narrative if you're into that. But again, Drummond kind of got limited that last game. We have Thunder. We have Hornets a 219 over under. The Hornets are 2.5-point favorites. Magic and Wizards is a 231.5 over under. The Wizards are 2-point favorites. 76ers and Knicks is the 215 over under. The 76ers are 8.5-point favorites. A little bit of blowout risk in this one. Pacers Bulls a 224 over under. Pacers are 5.5-point favorites. Raptors Spurs a 228 over under. The Raptors are 2-point favorites. Timberwolves Jazz a 229 over under. The Jazz are 9.5-point favorites. A little bit of blowout risk in this one as well. Rockets, Trailblazers, 225.5 over under. Trailblazers, 7.5-point favorites. This game is key. There's going to be a decent amount of value in it. The Rockets are going to be shorthanded, so definitely think you're going to want some exposure to that one. And then Suns, Kings, 227 over under. The Suns are 3.5-point favorites. So let's take a look at what we know so far, guys, and then we can jump into the player-by-player or team-by-team breakdown. Sabonis lock for sure. I'm pretty high on Sabonis again. I like the matchup for him a lot. So we got news. Obi Toppin rolled out. Honestly, doesn't do a ton for me. Knicks will start Peyton, Barrett, Bullock, Randall, and Robinson. Mano quickly rolled out too. We got the Thunder starting lineup. So they are starting George Hill with SGA, Dort, Baisley, and Horford. I'm pretty high on the Oklahoma City guys, the cheaper guys, like George Hill, like Baisley, like Horford. I think all three look pretty good. I think all three are underpriced in my opinion. Magic, same starters with Fultz, Fournier, Bacon, Gordon, and Vooch. Bertans going to be limited, no interest there. Westbrook is playing today, so it looks like he might be rested tomorrow if they're going to stick to that, he resting back-to-back plan. And then Hornets are starting Bismack Biyombo. Got Cody Zeller's out, so Biyombo starting, probably plays at least 20 minutes. I think he's definitely in play for value, but there's a decent amount of cheap value centers that are like similar plays. We have Aaron Baines, we have Plumlee. There's a couple other guys that are viable here. And that's kind of what we know so far. So let's talk about OKC first. So we have SGA at the top at 8.3K. I think he's still in play, but priced about right. Like, he is the guy that's going to lead this offense. He's going to play big minutes. It's a decent matchup too. So I do like SGA. Is he a must play? No. But again, I do like his upside. The offense is going to run through him. So SGA firmly in play. Now, I like the pricing a little bit better than Horford and Baisley. Horford is one of my favorite plays at 6.1K. Again, he's going to play the 5 basically the entire time he's out there. That's huge, right? When Embiid was out last year and Horford played the 5, like, he had some great games. So Horford, yeah, sure, he's getting up there in age, but when he plays the 5, he's a lot more productive. Good matchup too. So I do like Al Horford quite a bit here in the mid-range. I also like Darius Baisley going at 5-1. I think he's going to have a breakout year this year. I do. He should play big minutes as well. He should be, number 2, number 3 in this offense. I like him at 5.1K. I think he goes overlooked, but this guy has a good amount of upside. And again, he's going to have a breakout year this year. And then value play, George Hill, 3.4K. I like him a good amount. He's point guard and shooting guard eligible. He's starting. I think he plays at least 25 minutes, maybe more. Not a super high usage guy, but he doesn't need to be at this price. So, Thunder, those are kind of the guys I'm interested in the OKC side. Let's move on to Charlotte. So Charlotte, the top 3 guys in Hayward, Rozier, Graham, all three firmly in play. You know where the offense is coming from this team. It's those 3 guys. All 3 played big minutes, 35 plus. I think all 3 look pretty decent options. Oklahoma City is a younger team. They're not great defensively, so I have interest in all 3 of those Charlotte guys with Graham, with Rozier, with Hayward. Now, Rozier had the great shooting game last time. Hayward also had a good game. Graham did not shoot the ball well, but he still had 10 points, 10 assists. Again, I think all 3 are firmly in play here. I'm probably not going to take a shot on Ball or Bridges here. I don't think I can do PJ Washington, even though there's no Bismack or there's no Cody Zeller. Like, he probably does get more minutes, but he's just been such a letdown lately. So more of just a contrarian play. And last play I mentioned is Bismack Biyombo. And I'm not like super excited about this play, but he's starting. Should play at least 20 minutes, I would say. Certainly in play for value. But like I said, there's a lot of cheap centers in play. We got Plumlee. We have a couple other guys. We have Baines. We'll go over a few others. But that's really it for my interest there in Charlotte. Let's move on to Cleveland. So Cleveland, Drummond at 9-2, more of a contrarian play. It is a revenge game narrative, but only played 27 minutes the last game. Wasn't really in foul trouble, but either just kind of took it easy on his minutes. Also, Kevin Love went through shootout and is expected to play, so that does take a hit to Drummond. That also makes Larry Nance out of play at 6'8". Now, Sexton's at price at 7'2". He played big minutes, but I still probably look elsewhere. Garland at 5'6". Again, he had a nice shooting game, but he does have a pretty low floor, so I'm a little bit worried about this one. Like, he had 22, 6, and 6. I feel like people are going to chase. I'm not saying he's a terrible play, but I think he might be a little bit over-owned. Again, like, he has a pretty low floor, right? And this is when he was playing like pretty decent minutes. So a little uneasy feeling here with Garland. I think he might be a little bit over-owned. And then Okoro at 4-4. If he starts again, he's viable. He played over 30 minutes. He's a lower usage guy in this offense. He had 11 points and 5 assists in that game. So, yeah, he's fine for value. Don't know if I'm really super excited about it. And that's it for me on the Cleveland side. Let's move on to Detroit. So, Detroit, Blake Griffin, a little too expensive for me. D. Rose, same thing. More of a contrarian play. Not really looking there. Grant at 5'2". I think it's all right. But for me, I would rather take a shot on Plumlee at 4'8". I think he does make for a pretty decent value play. Right. In the last video, I said if I knew Mason Plumlee was going to play 30 minutes, I would play him. I was just a little uneasy. I wasn't sure if he was going to get the big minutes. He played 32 minutes. He stayed out of foul trouble. He had 14, 8, and 6. That's the type of stat line Plumlee can get you. Now, sure, matchup against Drummond, there is some foul trouble risks. You don't have to play him. There's other cheap value centers you can go to, like Biyombo, like Aaron Baines. But I think Plumlee firmly in play if he can stay out of foul trouble. I think he does get over 30 minutes. Does look like a pretty solid value play. I don't really want to take a shot on DeLon Wright. Last guy I'll mention is Josh Jackson, just because he was actually played pretty well at the bench, played about 30 minutes at 19, 6, and 2. Wouldn't expect him to be that productive again, but again, this Pistons team is pretty light on the talent-wise, so he should be a pretty decent part of this offense. So I think you can give a look to him in GPP. So let's move on to Orlando and Washington. Real quick, though, guys, I'll ask you to enjoy this content to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Already at over 250 viewers, so thank you, guys. I'll get the questions at the end. I'm going to try to go through this pretty quick. So Vucevic at 9-1, like the matchup for him. Think he's priced about right, but can still get you there. Aaron Gordon, they've been taking easy on his limits. And his minutes. He's been playing really well, but they're still not playing him huge minutes. I'm not playing Fournier at 6'4". Fultz at 6K is viable. Should play about 30 minutes. Again, matchup's great. He's been playing decently in the preseason, and he played okay in the last regular season game. Besides that, I don't think we have to take a shot on anyone off the bench like Anthony or like MCW. I prefer George Hill. I probably prefer those Rockets value depending on who starts. So that's really it there for Orlando. On the Washington side, there's not a ton I like with Westbrook playing. Like Westbrook and Beal are going to eat into each other's usage. In a tougher matchup, I'm not really excited about it either. I don't really want to play 7K for Thomas Bryant against Vooch. The bench guys, like Denny will play decent minutes, but I don't know if we have to do it. Really, Washington's a team I'm kind of avoiding on this slate. So let's move on to Philly and New York. Philly, Embiid at the top of 10-2, firmly in play. I think there's enough value to get him in there if you want to. Obviously, Harden's my priority, but Embiid has a ton of upside in this matchup. He could crush, right? Embiid has the upside to go for 70 basically in any single spot, and no one on the Knicks can stay with him. So I do like Embiid if you can get to him. Ben Simmons, a little pricey for me at 9-7. I would just rather get to Embiid. Tobias Harris shot the ball at 3 of 15. That was so tilting that last game. That can happen with Tobias, right? Kind of relying on the scoring. The price went up a bit, more of a contrarian play. I don't really want to take a shot on any of the value plays like Milton or Curry or Green. So that's kind of it for Philly. It's Embiid, and that's about it. On the New York side, there's not a ton I like either. Randall got priced up to 7.5. I mean, if I was going to play someone, it would be him. He's a guy that can stuff the stat sheet, should play 35-plus minutes, but I think I like other plays of similar price range. RJ Barrett had a really nice shooting game, but at times can be scoring dependent. Price is up. Tougher matchup. I'll pass. I'm not playing Alfred Payton at 6'1". Mitchell Robinson, there's just no way I'm dealing with that headache against Embiid. Probably 75% chance he gets in foul trouble here, so I'm just not going there. Alec Burks had a nice shooting game off the bench, but I'm not. Don't expect that to continue. And yeah, that's it. Like, I don't really think we have to take a shot in Bullock or any of these other like bench guys if you want. Like, I just don't think we have to do it. So New York, not a team I'm super excited about. On the Pacers side, a little bit more to like here. My boy Sabonis at 8.5K. I know the price went up, but still really like him. Love the matchup here. I love attacking bigs against Chicago. Markkanen, Wendell Carter Jr., no one can stay with this guy. Really, really do like Domantas Sabonis. Don't think he's a must play because the price should come up, but I think he can still go for 40 plus easily. Should play big minutes. Again, the offense runs through him, so I do like Sabonis a good amount, and I like Brogdon too at 7-4. Has such a high floor because he has the ball in his hands a ton. Played 35 minutes, had 8 assists, and he can stuff the stat sheet. Like I said, the matchup is great. You saw what Atlanta just did to Chicago the last game, so it's a bonus for me. It's Brogdon. I like both a good amount there at the top. I'm not going to get to Oladipo or Warren. I would just rather get to the guys above them. Miles Turner at 6K. Again, would rather get to Sabonis and Brogdon for a little bit more. And the bench guys, don't think we have to do it. So let's move on to Chicago. On the Chicago side, LaVine, I like him as a player, but about 9K in a tougher spot against the Pacers. I think he's more of a contrarian play. Still has upside, but don't know if I want to do it. Now, White is a little bit more viable. He's been so disappointing last couple games. Last game of the preseason and the first game of the regular season, I think he shot a combined like 3 of 30. He's not going to continue to shoot that bad. We know Kobe White can get it going. The offense runs through these two guards, so more of a GPP play. I don't think I can go there in cash games, though. Markkanen got priced up to 6-4. That seems about right. Again, he's relying on scoring. I'll pass. Wendell Carter Jr. was a chalk bust last game. That was super frustrating. You know he's going to have a big game tonight when no one's on him. Otto Porter Jr. is an intriguing play off the bench. Small forward is pretty thin tonight. There's not a lot of great small forward play, so I think you can give a look to Otto Porter. Should play like mid-20s minutes off the bench. I don't hate that. Even the rookie, Patrick Williams, I think you can throw in the player pool. He played 33 minutes. Again, a decent amount of that was in garbage time, but I think he's an okay value play. And that's it. So let's move on to Toronto. Toronto, we have Siakam, we have Lowry, we have Van Fleet. All three are decent plays here. It is a pretty good matchup. Now, with Lowry versus Van Fleet, it's pretty close to me, to be honest. Both have similar upside. Both should play similar minutes. Don't have a super, super strong take, but I think both are definitely viable in a good spot. I'm not going to get to OG at that price. Boucher's too pricey for the minutes he's playing. And Aaron Baines, he was one of those cheap centers I mentioned. He played, 29 minutes the last game? If he's going to play like mid to high 20s in minutes, he's certainly in play for value. He's a decent point per minute guy. So Baines, Plumlee, Biyombo, these cheap value plays all in play. And that's really it for Toronto. Let's move on to the Spurs. DeRozan had a big game last game, but price went up to 8K. I think I'll pass, let others chase it. Aldridge 6'9", that seems about White. DeJounte Murray is the guy that intrigues me at 6'4". No Derek White. Minutes should be secure with him, right? Last year, we always had to worry with him, with Mills, with White. Would the minutes be there? Well, minutes should be here for DeJounte Murray unless, I guess we could always get popped. That's always a possibility. But I think we get at least 30 minutes from him. He's a guy who can stuff the stat sheet, does have upside. Even in a tougher spot, I think DeJounte Murray is a nice play there in the mid-range. Rudy Gay only played about 20 minutes off the bench. I'll pass. Keldon Johnson played decent minutes as a starter, but a lower usage guy. I don't know if we have to go there. And that's really it for the Spurs. So I know I'm going fast here, guys, but I want to get to questions at the end. So I'll stay on for a good 20 minutes. We have 3 games left and then questions. Minnesota, Towns, 10K, contrarian play because of the matchup. D'Lo, 7-7. Price is a little bit better on him, but again, don't know if we have to do it. Rubio's too pricey for me. Beasley at 5'8", feels about right. I don't really want to play Anthony Edwards at 5'2". Really, Minnesota's a team I'm kind of off in the slate. There's really not a ton I like. Culver had a decent game off the bench, should play over 20 minutes, but don't know if we have to go there for value. I think there's better options. On the Utah side, so Mitchell, Gobert, 8-4 and 7-4 respectively. It's a good matchup for them. I think if I was going to take a shot on one of these guys at the top, it would be Gobert, but center is kind of loaded. We have Christian Wood, who is one of the best plays in the slate, and then we have some cheap center plays. So the opportunity cost of playing Rudy Gobert, you could do it to get contrarian, but I don't know if it makes sense if you're trying to build an optimal lineup. Conley at 6'5", Bojan at 5'9", seems about right. Bojan a little bit reliant on the scoring, but when he's shooting well, we can have upside. Clarkson off the bench should play mid-20s minutes, but the price had come up. He was like 4'2" last slate. He's 5'3" this slate. That seems, about right. Don't really want to play Joe Ingles at 5'1". So really, this game, Minnesota-Utah, is a game I don't have a ton of interest in. But now we get to the exciting game here. Houston and Portland. This is the game I want a lot of exposure to. No John Wall, no Eric Gordon, no Boogie Cousins. James Harden, Christian Wood, 2 of the top plays of the slate, in my opinion. I know, Harden, hasn't played a ton in the preseason. Blah, blah, blah. Obviously didn't play in the first game, got postponed. But with those 3 high usage guys out of the offense with Wall, Gordon, and Boogie Cousins, I just think James Harden is the top spend of the slate. Looks like they only have 9 healthy bodies, right? Harden's 1, Woods 2, Tucker's 3, House is 4, Caboclo is 5, Brown is 6, Nwaba 7, Tate's 8, Thomas is 9. So it looks like 9 healthy bodies. Harden, Wood should play huge minutes. They're the 2 high usage guys in his offense. Love them both. I prefer Wood point per dollar, but love Harden and Wood on the slate. I think they're 2 of the top plays. PJ Tucker, 5'2", firmly in play just because they're so shorthanded. He should play like 35-plus minutes. Now, he is a lower usage guy, so I think for me, I would rather take a shot on Danuel House. Normally, these are two guys I don't really like, but someone's got to help Wood and Harden. I think House is probably the guy. Again, relying on the scoring at times, but he is probably their third best player in this offense at the moment. Should play over 30 minutes. He's small forward eligible. Small forward's pretty weak this slate, so I do have interest in Danuel House at 4.7. I think it makes for a nice value play. And then, depending on who starts here, are they going to start Sterling Brown? Is it going to be David Nwaba? Is it going to be Jason Tate? I think the starters will be Harden, Wood, Tucker, House, and one of those guys. Not sure who. Whoever does pick up the start, I think I have the most confidence in and would become a really, really good value play. And whoever doesn't start, let's just say, for example, they start Sterling Brown, you can still consider guys like Nwaba and Tate for like contrarian plays at the bench. Again, these guys are going to have to play big minutes here. So whoever does pick up the start there for Houston, I like, maybe they even start Caboclo for a bigger lineup. Who knows? But whoever does start as that fifth guy, I do like a good amount for value just because, again, they're really, really shorthanded here. Let's move on to Portland. So Nurkic, they've been limiting his minutes, played low 20s minutes. I don't have a ton of interest in him. If he was like full go, if he was playing like over 30 minutes, he would be one of my favorite plays there at 7K in a great matchup. But just off that last game, again, they kind of limited him. So I don't know if I can do it yet. Like I said, if I knew Nurkic was going to play over 30 minutes, he would be one of my favorite plays of the slate, but they're taking it easy on his minutes for now. Lillard at 9.5, CJ at 7.8, both in play, a good matchup. This game should be played at a fast pace. I think both are GPP plays. I don't know if we have to go to either of them in cash games. Lillard had a terrible game the last game, but I think he bounced it back in this one again. He had 9, 4, and 7. Expect a bigger game from Lillard. Again, the price is up, so I think he's more of a GPP play. Same thing with CJ McCollum. Mid-range guys like Covington, Melo, Gary Trent, probably not for me. The only other guy I mentioned here is Enes Kanter at 4.6. Again, they took it easy on Nurkic's minutes. Kanter played over 20. If we're going to get like 20-ish minutes at Enes Kanter at 4.6 in a good spot, I think he's a good GPP play. I think those other value centers we went over a little bit safer for cash, like Plumlee, like Biyombo, like Aaron Baines. But Kanter's a guy that's a good point per minute guy. If we can expect over 20 minutes, I think he's a nice GPP play. And finally, Phoenix, Sacramento. I do have interest in this game. The only issue is the guys are kind of priced up a bit. Like Booker's almost 10K. Hard for me to really prioritize him over guys like Embiid and Harden on the slate. DeAndre Ayton at 8.1, kind of the same thing, right? I think I like some other guys in the mid-range. Now, he still has upside. He got in some foul trouble last game. It is a good matchup. He should play over 35 minutes if the game does stay close. So Ayton is more of a GPP play for me. Chris Paul, not really interested in him. He played under 30 minutes. I'll pass. With Bridges, Crowder, Cam Johnson, they're fine plays in the mid-range, but don't know if I'm really going to get excited about any of them. And I don't think we have to play guys like Carter or Galloway off the bench. So that's really it. And then finally, Sacramento. I'm a huge De'Aaron Fox fan, but almost 9K for him. Again, more of a contrarian option. Still in play for GPPs, but I would rather get to Harden. I'd rather get to Sabonis. I'd rather get to Embiid, for around the same price. Buddy Hield at 7.1, kind of the same thing. I like other plays a little bit better. I'm not going to pay almost 6K for Bagley. Harrison Barnes is a guy I never play like Andrew Wiggins or Evan Fournier. I just never, ever play those guys. I'm not playing 4.7 for Corey Joseph. The centers are a little bit intriguing here, Holmes and Whiteside. For me, I would rather take a shot on Whiteside off the bench. He's a high-usage guy. He played 18 minutes the last game. If Holmes gets some foul trouble, you could see a couple more minutes for Whiteside. So Whiteside, a GPP play for me. But that's really it. So let's refresh Fantasy Labs, and then we'll get to questions. Again, I know I went kind of fast there, but I want to get to your questions. Kevin Love, XM will have a minutes limit. Again, that kind of takes Larry Nance out of play for me, and I don't really want to play Kevin Love himself. Also hurts Drummond a bit. So, all right, that's it. That's what we got. 6:05. We'll stay on for another 15 minutes. Let's get some questions. Fading Harden. Fading Harden is very risky. Harden's going to get blown out and not play the fourth. Possible. It's possible. If you want to take that chance, fine. But Harden, I think, is one of the best plays. Westbrook, more of a contrarian play for me. Beal's playing. I think he can still get you there, but I'm prioritizing Harden and Embiid at the top. I'm playing Embiid over Harden. You can do it. You can do that. Again, Harden's going to be really, really popular. Please don't roster Harden. Give me Harden under 20% any night. No, Harden's going to be really chalky. Horford and Kobe White or Bazley and Brogdon. That's a tough one. I really like both options. I'll go with the first one, but that's close. Going to be so many tiers tonight when Harden busts for 11K. If you have a really strong take about fading Harden, then go for it. I'm not going to talk you off it. But for me, full disclosure, I will be playing James Harden. I have a strong feeling tonight's going to be the night where Harden puts up 40 to 50 fantasy points, and that's going to hurt. Yeah, like I said, you do not, if you guys do not want to play Harden, you don't have to, but they're so thin. So like, who else is going to score the ball for that team? Rozier or Graham? No, that's close. Rozier had the big game last game. I'll go Graham because I think he comes in a little bit lower owned. White and Horford, Brogdon, and Anunoby. I'll go with the first one. Hill, Rozier, Ross, Sabonis, Vooch, Milton, Horford, Wood, GPP thoughts. Don't hate it. Ross and Milton, not super excited about it. Everything else looks good, though. DK thoughts in my lineup. Lillard, Harden, Josh Jackson, Hayward, Wood, George Hill, House, Biyombo. I like it. Lillard or Sabonis, price doesn't matter. I feel more comfortable with Sabonis at his price. But Lillard, I think, has a little bit more upside when he gets it going. You can fade Harden. It's okay. I would not, however, fade Mitchell. Let's see. Harden is going to be, chat's going a little fast. Harden's going to be chalk. Murray, Brogdon, and Van Fleet. Murray, Brogdon, and Van Fleet, or Dame and Burks. Which of them? Murray, Brogdon, and Van Fleet. Well, you might have to ask that again. Sorry. Favorite spend up option besides the bonus or Harden? Embiid. Harden is not a must play. Not necessarily a must play. No. But I think he's in my opinion probably the top spend up. Is 5 players from the Rockets and Blazers too much for cash? I think 3 to 4 Rockets is probably the sweet spot for cash, and I don't think you have to play any Trailblazers, so maybe a little much. Holmes or Baines? I'd rather play Aaron Baines. A little more comfortable with his minutes, right? Whiteside coming out the bench for Holmes. You like Gordon Hayward? I do. I think all 3 of those top Charlotte guys are decent plays. Oklahoma City, not a great defensive team. They're a young team. Vucevic or Horford for GPP? Well, if you can get to Vooch. But I like Horford in the mid-range. Balance lineups win. There's a good amount of plays in the mid-range that, you don't have to play Harden. Give me 8 and 2%. Ayton will be low owned. He had foul trouble last game. He still has upside. How about Wood? Wood's one of my favorite plays. Sterling Brown in play. Depending on the starting lineup, either way, I think he's in play. If he starts, that's even better. Play both Brogdon and Sabonis. You can do it. You can. It's a great matchup. Chicago is not good defensively. House or Terrence Ross? I would rather have House, personally. The reason being is, again, they're shorthanded, and he should have to step it up offensively. Thoughts Norman Powell? Not for me. Any good plays besides Harrison Barnes in that similar price range? In like the mid 5K range? I don't really want to play Harrison Barnes. If you're just looking at utility, there's not a lot of. Maybe take a shot on like a guy like Otto Porter off the bench. I think that's an okay way to go. But yeah, this range of guys is not great for me. Like, I don't really want to play anyone in this range, to be honest. Baisley at 5-1. I think Baisley would be the guy for me. 5.1K. Yeah. Lowry and Baisley or Murray and Horford for cash. Man, that is so close. I'll go with the first option. Best utility, 7,100 and under. 7,100 under utility. So I don't really want to play Blake. Buddy's fine. You can give a look to Buddy big, and he is kind of relying on the scoring. Rozier had a big game last time out. This is a tough one, I guess. Maybe one of those Charlotte guys like Rozier or Graham. I think Graham comes in a little bit lower ownership, so I might prefer Devontae Graham to Terry Rozier. Murray or Lowry. If you can get to Lowry, I think Lowry, but that is a close one. Harden and Fultz or Lillard and Brogdon. Harden and Fultz for me. Detroit average. Whoops, that went fast. Let's see. Sorry, guys. This went pretty fast. Is Wood a must play? I think he's one of the best plays. Plumlee or Baines? Plumlee's going to be a little more popular, so it depends. Both are very, very similar plays. Both should play about 30 minutes. I like them both. Don't have a super strong take there. You like Baines at 4,200? Yeah, I do like Baines. Baines, Biyombo, Plumlee are the value like centers I'm looking to. SGA or Lillard? Lillard if you can get to him. I have 4 Rockets and Dame in cash. You can do it. I mean, Dame at 9.5, I don't know if he's a cash game play. I do like him for GPPs, but at almost 10K, I think he's more suited for tournaments. Sterling Brown's minutes depends on if he starts or not. If he starts, I would say at least 25. If he comes on the bench, I think probably at least 20 or so. A little bit hard to tell, but I think he will get some decent minutes tonight. Harden gonna get in foul trouble. PJ Tucker smashes. Do you like Darius Garland? I'm a little bit uneasy about Garland. Reason being, Kevin Love's there. He had a nice shooting game last time out, but he does have a somewhat low floor. They're getting healthy. He did play the big minutes, so I'm okay with it, but I think he might be a little bit over-owned. OG Anunoby, I'll pass. Do you like Wendell Carter Jr. as a value play? Contrarian play. He was a chalk boss last time out. Course for premium member. Yep, exactly. Alfred Payton in play. They played. I mean, hold on. Let me go to the Knicks because they have a couple guys out. Peyton played pretty limited minutes, but Rivers is out. I think they ruled out quickly as well. So maybe he does play some more minutes. I mean, they still have Ntilikina and Dennis Smith Jr. I think he's just a contrarian play still. Dort is starting for OKC, yes, but I prefer the other starters. Like I'd rather get to Hill. I'd rather get to Baisley, Horford, SGA. I think Dort is the fifth option. You can still play him. He's cheap. He's a good shooter. You saw what he did in the playoffs. Plumlee or Baines, again, that's I don't know a super strong take there. Go with what fits with their lineup, I'll say. I think both are good plays. If you have the money for Plumlee, get to Plumlee. If not, Baines is a fine value play. Both should play about 30 minutes if they stay out of foul trouble. Beal or DeRozan, FanDuel. I'll go DeRozan there. Hard for the discount. Right? If price doesn't matter, Beal. But if price matters, then DeRozan. Harden, Wood, House. Yeah, I mean, I think they're three good plays. 4,900 below small forward. Daniel House for me. Do you like Alfred Payton? More of a contrarian play. How do you think PJ Tucker? I think he's fine. Should play big minutes. I prefer other Rockets though. Brogdon and Murray. Price doesn't matter. Brogdon for me. I don't want to fade Harden, but the odds aren't good in his first game of the season. Being out of shape scary. Yeah, I mean there is some risk with Harden, right? You saw the picture, right? He doesn't look in great shape. Brogdon, Sabonis, Harden, Wood, core. I think it looks pretty good. What about that I don't know how to pronounce the name from OKC, that the rookie, the Polish guy, I believe. I don't know how many minutes he plays. You can take a shot on him in GPPs. You can. I'm just Alexi. Yeah, I'm not even gonna try to pronounce his name, but you can take a shot on him. More of a GPP play there for me. Favorite small forward spot. I mean, again, small forward is weak, so let's review small forward. Like, I mean, you have Hayward at 7'3". I think that looks pretty good. If you want to like punt small forward, again, I think a guy like Daniel House, just because Houston's really shorthanded. And then you could look to like the Houston value too, depending on who starts. Right, I think both Sterling Brown and Nwaba are small forward eligible. Yeah, so you can punt with one of these guys too. 3K and 3.2K respectively. Again, I need to see that Houston starting lineup, but whoever does start for them, I do like for value. Van Fleet or Lowry, yeah, that one's close. Lowry had the better game last game, so I'll go Van Fleet, but that's not a super strong take. They're very similar plays. House should be the third best player. He should. The slight concern I have House is he is a little bit scoring dependent at times. Real quick, guys, we're at 70 likes. Can we get to 100? Again, I'll stay on for another over 5 minutes for sure to answer questions. So if you do enjoy this content, would appreciate if you could hit that like button. It does help me out a ton. Sorry if I missed questions, guys. It is kind of going fast. Dort's a good shooter. You saw what he did in playoffs. Blah, blah. Dort sucks. He can't shoot. Yeah, but he can get hot. He can get hot is what I'm saying. I mean, he had that big game against Houston, right? He got hot behind the three-point line. I don't really want to play him again. He's like the fifth option in OKC. I prefer those other guys I mentioned. Mitchell or Lillard in cash, small GPP. I'd rather have Lillard. Do you like Tate from Houston? Depends on the starting lineup. If he does start, I have more interest there. Let's see. The Houston rookie, D'Lo, a good GPP play. He'll be low owned. Harden got that tummy. Yeah, Harden looks a lot out of shape. House or Hill? Well, price doesn't matter. I'll go House. But I do like Hill for value. If you had to go with a San Antonio Spurs player, DeJounte Murray. DK sub 4,300 is worth a shot. I already have George Hill. Which guards sub 4,300? Let's see. You already have George Hill, 4,300. I mean, I don't really like anything in this range. I think you just punt with one of those Houston guys, so maybe rearrange your lineup a little bit. Like, if I had to pick someone, maybe Jared Culver, because I think he plays like over 20 minutes off the bench, but I don't really want to play guys in this range. I think maybe go down to one of those value Houston guys, depending on who starts. SGA, haha, over AK. Yeah, it's a little pricey for me. It is. That's why I'm not as excited about SGA. I prefer the other guys on OKC. Daniel House or Josh Jackson, or the House. I can pick up TJ Warren. Should I? I think he's fine, but I just would rather get to this bonus and Brogdon. Murray, Sexton, or Rozier. DeJounte Murray for me. Vassell, good punt play. Risky. I don't think we have to do it. Best forward under 4,500. 4,500 forward. I don't really want to play in this range, but Okoro, Josh Jackson. Josh Jackson comes on the bench, will probably play 25 to 30 minutes. He's a higher usage guy. Okoro, lower usage guy, but should get more minutes. Tough one. I'll go Jackson, I guess, but not a super strong take. Harden, Hill, Patrick Williams, Sabonis. I like that. SGA or Mitchell and Cash. Both are a little overpriced, to be honest. I'll go SGA, I guess. You like the Knicks? Not really. Randall or Siakam? I'll go Randall still. Royce O'Neal, probably not for me. Lillard or Embiid if you can get to him. Josh Jackson in play. Should play 25 to 30 minutes off the bench. Aaron Gordon will have a minutes limit. Okay, yeah. So again, Aaron Gordon is, let me refresh Fantasy Labs real quick. Again, guys, will stay on for another 5 minutes. Minutes limit. So don't think I can play Aaron Gordon. Avija thoughts, probably not for me. Is Keldon Johnson in cash play? He's a little too pricey. $5K, that feels about right. Third best play on the Houston at the moment. I think it's Daniel House. With Love and Exum on the minutes limit, who does that boost for you? Not a ton. It kind of just takes more guys out of play. Hurts Drummond's upside, takes Larry Nance out of play. Yeah. Is Bazley your favorite Thunder? Tough one. Him, Horford, and George Hill, I think point per dollar are my favorite plays, but I still think SGA is viable. Harden, Dort, Ross, and Loader and cash. Yes, I would too. Again, Dort is... I would probably rather have George Hill than Dort. Is playing both Gordon, Hayward, and Graham viable? It is, because again, the offense is run through like those main three guys. So you can do it. Pick two, Barrett, Murray, or Graham. Murray and Graham for me. Thoughts on DeRozan, Tobias Harris, DeRozan, DK, go. Appreciate that, man. Is Buddy a good play? Relying on the scoring, a little pricey, but he can get hot. I think I would suit him more as a GPP play. Fox, Brogdon, SGA, Van Fleet, Jackson, Johnson, Sabonis, Bazley, Ayton, and thoughts on FanDuel. I have no issue there. Bruno Caboclo or Sterling Brown, Mets for both. Depends on the starters. I think Sterling Brown will start, but I'm not sure. So I would think he would play some more minutes, maybe like 25 to 30. Bruno Caboclo will probably back up Wood, maybe like 15 to 20. Minutes for Nurkic, he played low 20s minutes. It might go up to like 25. Again, if I knew Nurkic was going to play over 30 minutes, I would play him for sure. Milton or Alec Burks, I'll go Milton. I'm not super excited about either. Who's the best 3K value on the Rockets? It depends on who starts. It is. So I need to see this. Whoever does start, it would be the guy for me. Marvin Bagley and cash, a little pricey for me. Fultz, smash. I like the matchup for him. Kevin Love, minutes limit, not for me. I have Hill, too, in the lineup, DK. Yeah, I think George Hill's a pretty decent value play. Vassell or Lonnie, I don't really want to play either. I guess Lonnie. Hill, Shake Milton, OG, Baz, Sabonis, Hill, Ingles. I mean, you have a couple guys like Ingles, and Ingles is probably the guy I wouldn't consider in that lineup. If I'm playing through Rockets and GPP, do I have to bring it back? No, you don't. You can. Like, if I'm going to bring it back with someone, it would probably be Lillard or Cantor for value. Like I said, but if I knew Nurkic was going to play over 30 minutes, I would play him. But a little uneasy on his minutes. Kevin Love, going to be on a minutes limit, not for me. Harden, Hill, Williams, Sabonis, Biyombo, Rozier, House, Gobert. I think it's fine. A little contrarian. Anunoby or House for me. Point guard 9,100 or under. Point guard 9,100 under. I mean, Fox is a little overpriced, but I'll go Fox here. Utah stack, it's a good matchup, but don't know if we have to go to anyone. Again, Gobert's a little underpriced, but center, it's opportunity cost there. Harden and Josh Jackson, Rozier and Sabonis. Harden and Josh Jackson. Man, that is tough. It's just fading. I mean, it depends on what you're playing. I think if you're playing a cash game, you probably have to play Harden. For GPPs, though, you can make the argument to fade. Right, Harden's going to be really popular, and Rozier and Sabonis both have upside. So it depends on what you're playing. Who's a good pick from Sacramento and Phoenix? So I like that game, but everyone is kind of overpriced. We have Booker a little overpriced. Ayton seems priced about right. Fox seems a little pricey. Tough. I think Whiteside's an interesting contrarian play off the bench. Should play like 15 to 20 minutes. Clarkson, Ingles, and Gobert. Of those three guys, like I think Gobert is the most upside. Royce O'Neal and Plumlee or Keldon Johnson and Biyombo. How many minutes did Royce O'Neal play that last game? Again, I'll stay on for one more minute here. Sorry, I'm just checking what Royce O'Neal played. I'm curious to see what his minutes were. And he's a low usage guy in the offense, and they are kind of healthy now. Where is Royce O'Neal? He played 28 minutes. I think I'll go the other option. Ross or Jackson? Jackson for me. Sterling Brown starting. I don't think we know yet. Who likes Keldon Johnson? Keldon Johnson's a fine play at 5K, but feels about right. Gobert or Randall, I like the upside a little bit more in Gobert, but again, the opportunity cost of playing him at center is a little different. Fading Harden is terrifying, but I'm doing it. You can do it. Again, it's a risky fade. Gordon and Hayward, I think I like all three of the top guys for Charlotte. Who's the best stud pivot? I think Embiid. What about Vucevic? I like Vucevic as contrarian play. Feels about right, but matchup's great. Bagley, Josh Jackson, or Plumlee and Anunoby. Plumlee and Anunoby, I guess. Hill, Harden, Dort, Sabonis, Biyombo, Lillard, Ross, Wood, DK, GPP. I think that's fine. Deshaun Tate is good if he starts. Yeah. I would probably prefer whoever starts for Houston. Patrick Williams or Josh Jackson. I'll go Jackson. They're both okay plays. Van Fleet, I think, is a decent play. He had a bad game last time out. Should play big minutes. I I think he bounces back. Thoughts on Pascal Siakam? I think I like other plays in that price range. What do you think about CJ McCollum? 7-8 feels about right. It's a good matchup. You can go to him. I think he's more suited for GPPs, though. 7-1 Brogdon or 6-9 Murray. That's close. I'll go Brogdon. Is Hill starting? Yes. George Hill starting. DeRozan revenge game. I guess I didn't even think about that. Yeah, it is revenge game for DeRozan. 8K, though. That feels about right. I would rather play 6-4 DeJounte Murray. Do you like Keldon Johnson at all? I think he's a fine play at his price, but not super. Thoughts on PJ Washington? More of a contrarian play. Should play some more minutes. Only played 21 in the last game, but should play more at the small ball 5 with no Cody Zeller. He's a decent, he can fill up a stat sheet, but he's been kind of he's busted the last few games. Graham and Rozier in the same lineup. You can do it. I think I do prefer Graham because Rozier had the big game last time out. Harden, Rozier, House, Sabonis, Wood, Hill, Biyombo, Bagley. I think that's fine. Hill, okay, thoughts? Yeah, I think George Hill is a nice value play. We have Hill, we have George Hill, we have the value centers, and we have the Houston guys, depending on who starts. Again, Houston's the team I want a lot of exposure to with them being shorthanded in a good spot. But, all right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for me. Thank you guys for everyone to come and check the live stream. I really do appreciate it. Again, we hit over 400 viewers. So good luck tonight. Thanks again, and I will see you guys all later.